Hi, everybody, and thank you for joining the grand pitch finale of our final and third CPG Accelerator season. And what a season it's been. It's been fantastic to see your progress from joining in September up to where you are today. And I couldn't be more excited to see the final product of your pitches, of where you've come to with your companies. And with us, as usual, we have three fantastic panelists, investors, and judges that will provide feedback on the pitches and on your business models and ideas. I think I'll hand over to them to introduce themselves briefly. Maybe Yingzi, do you want to start?
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for the invitation. Happy to see all the great startup in this season. So I'm Yingzi. I've been navigating the entertainment, tech, and gaming industry previously in Vivendi, the holding company of Universal Music and Gameloft. Afterwards, I went into Innovation Lab of Ubisoft, where I was working with a lot of startups in our incubator in Web3. So happy, of course, to see in general the social, gaming, and different B2C use cases today. Thank you.
Thank you. Vidisha, do you want to go next?
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Raffaella, for the introduction, and everyone, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today. Myself, I've been in the European venture capital scene since 2012. I started mainly in consumer and then transitioned into the B2B sector. And I was one of the youngest female GPs in Germany at the age of 32, running a 100 million euro fund on behalf of one of Germany's largest insurance companies. I'm really excited to see some of the deals that we're going to see today, and looking forward to giving some feedback on that.
And Evan.
Hey, great. My name's Evan. Thanks for having me, guys. Excited to watch all these pitches. I was a founder myself many years ago. I started a company called Pogo Seat. We built an app for seat upgrades at sporting events, and that company's still going today, which is pretty cool. Back in 2017, I ran a small crypto fund and have been investing in that space since then. Most recently at Steel DAO, which is a cool investing syndicate that's spun out of Bessemer Venture Partners. And then my full-time job is running partnerships at Flipside Crypto. So yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. And today we will see a mix. So, we have 3 stages of startups: ideation, building, and growth. Today we will start with a few building startups, and then a few from the growth will follow. And as said before, you will each have to pick your 3 favorites. You will do that in secret once we've seen all of the pitches. We will collect that, and they will go and become, the finalists for our CPG's Choice Awards. Righty, and I think with that, we dive right into the first startup. So all pitches are just 2.5 minutes. So they're very short and crisp. We instructed the startups, they have pre-recorded them, and they have really spent countless hours on getting these pitches into a 2.5-minute format, because it's very tough, presenting in such a short time frame. The first one is one of our long-time CPG community members, Wonder. They have been building with the accelerators since the second season. Very excited for it. Can we see the pitch, please?
Hi guys, my name is Elian Kutsi. I'm here to talk to you today about Wonder. Now, I've been an editor in the magazine space for over 15 years, have magazines in 20 countries, and also work with some of the world's leading brands. Now, to increase the revenue in your website, you need to improve your dwell time and also increase the number of returning visitors. Unfortunately, due to the popularity of social media, long-form content is losing the battle in the attention economy. So the question is, how can we empower these websites and give them the tools to compete? And that's where Wonder comes in. Wonder is a plugin built to reward engagement with your website. So it helps increase platform revenue by giving more returning visitors and improved dwell time, as well as new monetization options, while improving the user experience by giving them tangible rewards and engaged gamified experience. And this comes at no extra cost to your visitors. They're rewarded for how long they engage with your content, which can then be redeemed for experiences, products, and other benefits. When asked, 63% said they would be more likely to return to a website if they were rewarded. And when we spoke to brands about Wonder, they said it's an interesting way to incentivize and engage consumers. So essentially, not much would change at the start. The users would go to the website and engage with the content as they would normally. The difference would be they would be rewarded for that initially, but then they'd also be invited to take part in a questionnaire about the content. And they get points for that, which they can then put towards prizes, an experience, or product perhaps. They also have the option to give their data to the brand in order to get more points as well. So even though Wonder can be used on any website whatsoever, we decided to start by creating a plugin for WordPress, as WordPress has a 10 times greater market share than its close competitor. That gives us 25 million websites to target at the start and a target revenue of 3 billion. And that's on our lowest model, our price model. After which comes the enterprise model, which we use AI to make it more sophisticated. That includes advertising revenue on top of that, and also the option for Web3 revenue on top of that. So Web2, we're using Web2 to run the site on the day-to-day, but Web3 we'll use for the validation and the token gating and the digital collectibles. But AI technology will be used to help create the quizzes on the site for the consumers, but also for us to train our own AI model in order to become experts in the psychology of rewards. And it's great for brands who want to capture data too. When we ask consumers, 95% said they have given their data in order to receive a benefit of the reward. And when we ran Wonder past David North, the global head of advocacy for William Grant & Sons, he said, let's just say you've hit 5 or 6 of the key buzzwords from our recent strategy meeting. And he's not the only one. Other brands are loving where Wonder is heading too. So what we're looking for is between 50 and 100K, and I'm willing to give up to 2% equity for that. That would allow us to build an MVP, gain eligibility for a $500,000 innovation UK grant, and also further validate the concept. Thanks for your time. Any questions, let me know.
Cool. Thanks for the pitch. Maybe we can bring Eli in, and but first we hear hi, nice to see you again.
Hello.
We just saw each other last week, and maybe we dive straight into the feedback. So there's no particular order, so whoever wants to go first can provide some thoughts or feedback on the pitch.
Yeah, I'm happy to start. Hey Eli, great job. Totally get the problem. Like, I'm one of those guys who, like, I'm on Twitter, I'm reading stuff, and I see an article and it's like 4 pages long. I'm like, I'm not going to read that, right? So if there was some way to incentivize me, reward me, I would do it. So one question I had is, like, you mentioned gamified examples. Like, can you give me an example of like what gamify would happen on the article?
Yeah. So actually, in the pitch, there was the example of the simplified. I mean, the whole idea is not to invade the experience of you and make it too cumbersome for you and make it too hard. The idea is to just literally reward you for what you would do anyway, plus give you an option to do something more. So the gamified experience from this example was purely answering the question, the quiz. That was it. Okay. That was literally all we had to do. I mean, there was nothing else. And one of my main bugbears was that a lot of these reward systems make you go well outside the norms of what you do anyway to get something back. The whole point is traffic is the lifeblood of these websites. All they need to do is come back and engage and be there. So they're literally rewarding for what you do anyway.
And these are the brands that you're working with that are providing the reward, right?
Yeah, so it is, like I said, it was 2.5 minutes, so it's really hard to explain the entirety of it. But essentially, there's two sides. The platform would reward the user. But when I speak with brands, because I'm from the editor side of view, brands are always looking for new way to get new data in. So they work with platforms like myself to market to our audiences. So the way it would work is that platforms like myself would use something like Wonder, and brands would then leverage those platforms to use them to capture more data in order to market to them directly themselves. And so they like the idea of expanding their own data set by using their brand partners rather than just, getting links and click-throughs. They can actually get data which they could validate and verify as well on top.
Awesome. Thank you.
No worries.
Hi, thank you so much for the short and sweet pitch. It's a very specific use case, which is great because there's a pain point and you're providing the solution. So you mentioned using AI to provide the content of gamified survey. So what are the format that you're imagining? Is it text or maybe some gamified quest? And my other question is, how do you plan to potentially implement also anti-cheat system to prevent users also to use AI to reply to the questions already asked by AI? Thank you.
Again, very, very good points. The AI initially would be main service would be to generate the questions. So rather than you having to look at the article, it would suggest potential questions you could ask your audience automatically in order for them to answer them. And in terms of the game side of things, at the moment, the idea we have is very simple. So it wouldn't do much more than, as you saw now, it'd be very simple things, really simple tasks. But one thing we would be doing in the background, which I mentioned, is actually training the AI to suggest the right reward scheme for the particular platform. For example, I mean, you guys will know in Web3, there's a real disparity between those who win everything and those who win nothing. And it can be deeply demotivating or motivating, depending on what side you're on, right? So the idea is that we train our AI to suggest the best point system as your reward scheme grows, in order to understand what the different breakaways will be between the two, in order to keep your audience the best engaged. So that's that side of things. And in terms of the anti-cheat, partly is the type of content as well. So there's a few things. We use the normal things like the KYC, things like the recapture. In short, would be no more vulnerable than anyone else is today. That's the first thing. But secondly, the way that it works is in itself would be demotivating to things like bots. For example, if a website related to photography was to use Wonder on their platform, the only things you'd be able to get were things related to photography. So it's for interest segments only. Now, should someone really want to go through the effort of breaking down and botting that for whatever specific rewards that specific platform had wanted to have, then so be it. But it's less likely to be that, because it's not purely about let's make loads of money. The whole point is we're rewarding people with things that they're interested in anyway. And that's the overall idea of it. And hence, I'd say, would be, yes, there will be vulnerabilities, I'm sure. But in that sense, I think we'd be less likely to encounter that than other platforms in certain ways.
Thanks so much, Eli, for the presentation. I guess I'm going to focus on the Web 2.0 nature of the platform and ask some of the classic questions that I ask many of the B2B founders that I speak with. It's going to focus on two core areas. The first is acquisition of the WordPress websites. So how do you actually get them to use the plugin and put it on their websites? And the second is around pricing, actually. So what we've seen in content specifically is that pricing has fallen per thousands of impressions. And I'd love to understand a little bit more about how you plan to price your product.
Thank you. Really good questions, actually. One of the reasons I decided to do this is because I'm actually have a few platforms in the space myself. So to launch it, we'd actually launch it on a few of my own platforms, but also colleagues' platforms that colleagues run. So we would be able to get certain brand names that are well known in certain spaces to validate it before it even goes to market. So that will help us gain trust off the bat. The secondary thing about the reason we chose WordPress is because they have specific massive plugin markets that you can target. So it's a really obvious place of where to go to target the potential users. And so those would be ideally the two ways we go. The first one is purely for my contact book in the space, having been there for almost 15 years and my own platforms, to gain the credibility. And secondly, to go via these massive, like Envato and all these other massive WordPress plugin marketplaces to target exactly where these guys go to get their plugins. On the pricing, this is something that will need to be worked on further. Because I was looking at initially freemium, so like a 0 to the $9.99 standard sort of onboarding, and then a more enterprise one around $30. But the idea was generally to because there is a potential monetization aspect of Wonder as well. The idea would be to add some more commission structure when they decide to pursue that road. So essentially, for the bigger, more enterprise clients, the idea would be to make a lot more revenue from those in terms of the sort of the add-ons and the ongoing commissions through how they operate, if that makes sense. So otherwise it would work as is. The numbers I put there were based on acquiring around about less than 500 users in the first year on the standard model, and I was based on a 5% conversion rate, and then the enterprise was less than 100, and that's based on a 3% conversion rate upgrade. So they're pretty small numbers to start with, but when I looked at other potential plugins on the platform, it seemed kind of reasonable. And also to add on to that, one thing I need to clarify is the fact we're not going specifically after commerce sites. So bear in mind that only 26 million commerce sites exist on the net. 73 million use CMS platforms. 96% of those news websites use WordPress. So we have a much bigger pond to shop in, and we're not going up against all these commerce plugins because they specify on commerce. We're starting off by going after the people they're not going after, so we kind of have a free hit in that space. So all these things I think will help to get us off to a really good start.
Fantastic.
Very cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eli, for the presentation. So because Wonder was the first, they got extra time and got to answer all of the questions in, to make sure we keep good on time. The next founders we will first hear all of the comments and feedbacks from our jurors. And hi, Greg. And then the startups will only be able to answer 2 questions. Yeah, so we do that, and you can pick which 2 you want to answer. Maybe the 2 you think are most relevant, to make sure we keep good in the time. And the next one is a very interesting one. It's easy. It's a Web3 native project, and they have already raised $1.1 million, and they have had some very impressive early traction. So let's give it up for the pitch.
Hello everyone. My name is Vova Sadkov. I'm 26 and I'm 5 years on position of CEO and founder of different startups. I've successfully scaled and exited 2 startups in medical technology and educational technology. At the moment we are building Easy. Easy is a gamified platform with social features and digital assets marketplace that accelerates sales, provides additional liquidity, lowers the cost barrier to enter the market, and facilitates the community growth. We are building a social platform with a next-gen gamified marketplace. At the moment, I want to show you the prototype of the platform. Here on our platform, users can come, connect the wallet, and we're making it possible for those users to sell any of their Web3 assets, creating a drop. Drop is a decentralized raffling ticketed sales system. So basically, by the gamified approach, we are making it possible for users to accelerate sales and sell the asset at a full value by selecting the number of tickets, the cost per ticket, and the total profit. So basically, the user creates all those 3 variables, creates the drop, submits it, and after the curated approach, we are giving the users who are contributing to the market with attention, contributing to the market with time, but they haven't got a chance to contribute to the market with money because of those high entry barriers. We're making it possible for them to enter the asset, buying just a fraction of the cost ticket in order to have 2 things. First thing, they're now participating in the raffle in order to have a chance to win the full valuable asset, but as well we are giving them the ability to participate in before token gated community, creating the DAO. At the moment, in a nutshell, we are building a platform, one-stop platform for everyone who wants to trade, communicate, and create. We are just starting with NFTs. We have everything prepared to implement tokens. We are further down the line implementing the digital Web2 assets like redeem codes, electronic tickets, in-game assets, and our final destination is making a gamified trading process of tokenized real-world assets. So potentially using our ecosystem, our token and our platform, you will be able to sell your car, luxury watch, or even obtain a one-of-a-kind artwork. We are having this 11 people full-time team, full packed by AAA specialists. We are being supported by our advisors. At the moment, we have more than 75,000 users into waiting list, 25,000 verified users in Discord, and more than 20,000 wallets connected to the website. We've successfully raised our seed round in April, 1.1 million only token based, and we are backed by Daedalus. At the moment, we've approached our private round, and we've already, in under 25 days of raising our private round, we've already collected 600,000, and we are planning to launch the mainnet of the platform in the end of November, and we are doing the TGE in the Q1 of 2024. Thank you so much, and I'm always open to answer any of your questions. Thank you.
Wow, very impressive founder, so young with multiple exits and good traction for this one. So I said you can bring him already up that he can join us. But now this time, hi, nice to see you, Vova.
Hello, nice to be here with you.
Genau. So did you hear? So now we're doing it slightly different. That we first hear all of the panelists and their feedback, and then you get to answer only 2 of their questions. So you will have to choose the 2 that you want to answer. Who wants to go first?
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. So great pitch. I was seeing in the deck that you are going to also include a Web2 user. So regarding the curation of the platform for a mix of end users, how are you going to separate, let's say, as of today, the very different need from the Web2 crowd and the Web3 crowd?
I'll go next. Hey, great pitch, Vova. Yeah, I've seen a few fractionalized NFT startups, and I was a little skeptical in the model. You got some impressive traction, so congrats on that. I did see one piece how you said, like, if I buy a share, like 100th of a CloneX, I'm entered in a raffle to win the whole NFT. So I'd love to hear like how that works and what happened to the other folks that have a fraction of that NFT.
And I just had a question around, obviously assets like cars and watches and things like that, they're kind of fixed prices, essentially for a longer period of time where you could execute these type of trades. When you've got volatility in the market for any of your NFTs, how do you deal with that?
Amazing questions. I think that I'll just really fast answer all of those. So answering the first one, we are
Breaking the rules right away there.
Sorry.
That's a good sign for founders.
Basically, we are to mix Web2 and Web3 audience. We are implementing not only Web3 assets, but as well digital real-world assets like redeem codes, electronic tickets, in-game assets like blue chip skins in games, and all those, like, let's say, redeem codes, electronic tickets, and as well tokenized real-world assets. Answering the second one, it's not a fractionalization, actually, because I'm not a fan of fractionalization myself. I don't think that if you want to have a card that you will be satisfied with having a wheel of that car, it doesn't make sense. So we are not fractionalizing. We're just giving a possibility to a user to enter the token before token gated community by just paying a fraction, and then giving them the possibility to create in that DAO and to obtain the full valuable asset. So the winner is being selected by the Chainlink WRF. So it's like basically it's a decentralized lottery, and the other users are getting the equal amount locked staked in our native token, and they get the return investment. But I'll elaborate on this if we'll have a chance to discuss it just one-on-one. And as well, the last question, while answering those two, I just forgot the third one. Well, what was the third question?
It was around like how would it work, like if it's not if it's very fluctuating, volatile prices.
Thank you so much. So basically, but all prices on our platform are volatile as well. So if we'll see that, but as users are entering with crypto as well, but we'll just recount the number of tickets per user. So basically, the prices are being able to just being volatile. We are not just making the fix on those prices.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much as well.
Can't wait to see more of it and hopefully win something myself, eh?
Amazing.
Cool. Then we come to the third one, and this one is the new startup by our all-time favorite Gregarious. So Gregarious, you guys don't know him yet, but he's like how do you say, like one of our I forgot the English word now, sorry. But he's been with CPG since forever, a real superstar, real AI, expert. And his previous startup has won our CPG's Choice Award twice in a row. And this is his new startup that was born out of, working with AI and being so close to the developments there and seeing a gap in the market. So the new startup is called Must See. So let's see what the pitch.
Hi, I'm Gregarious, and I'd like to tell you about our new product, Must See. It's a platform designed to help salespeople use content to sell on social. We're starting with realtors. Social media has made content critical to sales success. Realtors need social to generate leads and close customers. But it's complicated, time-consuming, and not cheap. Must See changes all of that. All we need is an address. We use AI and automation to instantly create content that sells, saving you time, money, and most importantly, frustration. Real estate is going through a number of changes today, but above all else, it's clear that customers shop on social, and realtors need to be there if they're going to stay ahead of the curve. Our mission is to let realtors focus on selling, not social media. We're turning industry best practices into AI-powered CMS that makes every realtor a social media expert. And there's a lot of realtors, 3 million in the US alone, with 70% of them selling residential, our sweet spot. At just a modest $100 per month, that represents a $2.5 billion opportunity. And that's before we move to other verticals. We know we can help. We've been building these kinds of tools for a decade. Our previous product, Zealous, is an AI platform that generates content for thousands of creators. Now we're set to help salespeople. Our approach is simple, a low-cost, highly scalable product that grows with our realtors' success, starting at just $5 per post. Though we've only started 2 months ago, we're trying to keep up with customer interest. We have our first 5,000 agents ready to pilot and 100,000 more in the wings. They're excited because finally they have a solution that's easy to use, impresses their clients, and doesn't cost an arm and a leg to stand out. We're raising $500,000 to close our first partners and deliver the platform. If you can't wait to see more, let's chat.
Hi, Greg. Good to see you.
Hi, I'm actually at a real estate conference.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Cool. Always be selling, eh? Okay,
yeah.
let's hear the questions. Same for you. You know, we hear all the questions first, and then you answer 2 of them.
Thank you so much for the presentation. And I just had a very quick question that was around the competitive landscape of content creation for this type of product. We see a lot of movement right now in many platforms emerging, helping companies do that. And I'd love to understand the content side.
Hey, Greg, I'm Evan. Great job, very polished pitch. Side note, my friend is the co-founder of Side, the big real estate platform for agents nationwide. So I'd be happy to help you out there for some intros that'd be of interest. But my question is like, why'd you start with real estate as the first vertical, and what are your next like top 2 to 3 to tackle?
Hi, great pitch. Since you are in a conference with realtors, potentially I'm wondering if the platform is for international market as well. In certain countries, especially in Asia, there are platforms that are actually eliminating, let's say, the middleman model. They automate the whole process of purchase, of visiting even, because smart home is being trendy as well. So how are you going to tackle this if you want to go to international market?
Great, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Great. Evan, I will definitely take that introduction. Thank you. So on the competitive landscape on the content side, I think there are very complex tools, CapCut, basically things with scrubbing and timelines. And these are just kinds of things that people who are in business don't want to learn or become experts in, right? I think there are a lot of very generic tools for generating content, like on the Jasper, Content AI, like stuff like that, more text-based. But where we're unique, I think, is in platforming video and audio and text generation together for direct use on social, right? And so I think that's a big difference. If you compare the analog process today, you'd have to go find the listing data, download all the photos, load it into a tool, generate it for one size, regenerate for another size, and then generate posts as well to then share it. That's just a lot of time that nobody honestly wants to spend if you're really focused on building relationships and selling, right? I think why we chose real estate in particular is we know that audience is it tends to be slightly older, not necessarily as connected or advanced in the space, but also very busy doing a bunch of other tasks. And so it's not an ideal use of their time. The average realtor spends something like $12,000 a year on marketing. And they also invest about $300 a month in technology directly. So it's a great starting point relative to the need and the pain point. But where I think we can go next, Shopify, we have the exact same product working for Shopify. Give us a URL. We turn the entire catalog into ready to use social content with voiceovers, AI, et cetera, all ready to run. And then I think SMBs like restaurants and
other stuff like that, where we can actually turn Yelp reviews into content that you can share organically. I think the market is changing around real estate, so I don't think we'll be here forever. But I do think that whatever disruptions happen, highs or lows, people still will generally market one way or another. Now, whether or not that customer is the builder or the realtor or the lister, right, the seller, right? Like, I think there are always still going to be parties who need to like stylize their property the best way possible so they can still sell it.
Cool. Thank you so much for that. Very exciting. Yeah, good luck at the conference. I hope you get lots of customers. And then, yeah, see you
Thank
soon.
you. Bye.
By the way, I wonder if Greg only submitted a new startup to win the Community's Choice a third time in a row. I don't think that's the sole reason for it. But let's see what of course you panelists can vote the finalists for this vote today. So the next one is MP. It's a music platform, and yeah, let's. Do we have a pitch for that as well?
Hello everyone, I'm Leo Simon. Today I'm going to present MP. Basically with MP we are unlocking the music social graph. What does it mean? It means that music industry is stuck 20 years ago. They have no data, revenue is stagnant, and the social experience is inexistent. You have no clue to know what your friends are listening to, no way to integrate your music activity on apps, but the internet is becoming multiplayer and music is not in this way. So music is the most consumed entertainment for Gen Z, and we found it's really important for us to unlock this music social graph. So basically our vision is really to dissolve the data silos into interoperable and self-sovereign worlds to unlock new ways to consume and monetize the music. How do we do that? We give unprecedented data about fans, a reason to buy, and some social recognition with gamification and microtransaction. Quickly, the technology is based on a proprietary ranking algorithm. Basically, we plug to every music services, Spotify, Ticketmaster, physical sales or concerts, and we are aggregating all these data. We are ranking them using some tools, and we are open sourcing them using a proprietary NFT that allow people to get data on which artists they are listening to. And we are also making an API available for Web2 partners. So that's basically the whole idea to create a data passport for every fan.
Cool. Thank you so much.
I cannot hear you. Yeah, I do. Sorry.
Can you hear me now? Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, it's
hi
all
there.
good. All good. It's all.
Cool.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
can
yeah.
hear
It's
you
all good.
too.
Hi, hi. Not the same guy
Yeah.
that you saw in the video.
Yeah, you look different. I
Yeah,
have seen.
am I?
We have obviously met before. So yeah, it's very
Yeah.
different to the pitches you presented last week. So I think I see
Well,
you changed
actually,
it a
yeah, I
lot.
didn't expect. Yeah, I didn't expect the pitch to be done this way. I had mine ready. We probably had a miscommunication on that one, but yeah, hopefully you got the point, and I'm here to answer the questions.
Yeah. So let's hear them. Who wants to go first?
I can go. Yeah, Ricardus, great work. I just had one question on, getting the data from Spotify and Ticketmaster and like around like platform risk or API risk. Is that going to stay open, like those pipelines allowing you to get that data, or is there like obviously some risk of those being shut off at some time and affecting the business?
Thank you so much for the presentation. My name is Felicia, and I just wanted to ask you around how you access the superfans, or how you work out what the superfans are, and get them to then use your platform.
Hi, nice pitch. So I'm going to ask actually a complementary question with the previous one. From the artist side, I suppose there are long tail effects right now as well. There are huge artists, there are medium, and then very, very niche and long tail artists. So how do you plan to onboard specifically the big stars and the very, very niche artists that has very little fans, but then they still exist on different mediums, as you mentioned?
Okay. Thanks for the questions. I'll go with Vidisha first. What we're doing is actually building two products that are interdependent. The first one is a consumer app, and the second one is a software for labels and artists to access data and tools to actually track and measure if someone is a fan, a super fan, or an idol. We allow him to connect every consumption streams that he has, so streaming, album sales, concert tickets, merchandising, and even social engagement. Basically, anything that brings value to the artist will be captivated and tracked into a digital music passport. We're using APIs, so I'm transitioning to events questions. So yeah, using tokenization of physical sales, APIs, and yeah, basically this is our two processes to get this data. There's some kind of risk for sure, but these APIs have been open for now years and years. Dozens of millions of people have been able to retrieve their data from these platforms through different projects, which give us some kind of edge until we could face a problem. And we are still looking to kind of set up a private deal with private APIs with those companies that we will be retrieving data from. And to answer Yingzi question, sorry, we basically believe that we want this platform to be available for any kind of artist, medium, superstar, and even low one. To actually reach the top ones, and our strategy, which is actually our go-to-market and scaling strategy, we targeted major labels right from the bat. So this whole concept, this whole product is based on demand and problematics that have been formulated by labels themselves. The lack of data and the lack of solution to actually identify, segment, and monetize these super fans. So from this, we are building a product for these major labels, which is declinable for any type of artist with different kind of subscription model, like a SaaS, with different pricing range.
Cool. Thank you so much. It's definitely very exciting what you're building. Can't wait to see where it's going. Something very different and very needed, I think. Thanks for pitching today.
Bye-bye.
Cool. I think we're already halfway through now. So you see it's quite quick, quite focused. The next one is El Dorado. They have also been with the CPG Accelerator for 2 seasons, I believe. And it's also a very Web3 native product in the DeFi and decentralized finance space. So let's hear the pitch.
Good morning, CPG. This is Coronado, and I am the CEO of El Dorado Market. We are a cross-chain decentralized exchange. The long and short of that is that, like a centralized exchange, we are a place where you could come and swap between blockchain assets, but on a cryptographic level, we cannot steal your stuff. We don't have access to any of the funds, I would say, on our platform, but no funds are really on our platform. They're in smart contracts, and we cannot run away with things like an SBF or something like that and gamble with funds or do anything like that. The reason people used centralized exchanges previously was because it was the best solution for swapping and for gaining yield on cryptocurrencies until now. And we have that technical improvement with our backend called Maya Protocol, and we are able to offer this with very low fees in the same way that a SEX might to the world. We're international, and we are not just a deck with an idea. We are a functioning product. So let's take a look. Right now on our platform, you can come here, and primarily the things that you'd want to do are to swap. There's 2 real things: swapping and providing liquidity to gain yield. Here's our swaps page. You can swap between assets. Very simple. So what assets are you swapping with? The assets are the assets of our community that have deposited and are providing their liquidity. So If you provide liquidity to the system, there are transaction fees taken, and you get an APR based on liquidity you provided being used for other people swapping. Again, we are not mediating this. These aren't fake APRs, but some of them are significant. If you look at these APRs here, 15% on your Bitcoin in Bitcoin. There's a premise. Without anything else that our platform does, 15% on your Bitcoin in Bitcoin, just for providing it as liquidity for other people to trade with. And that's not based on us being a Ponzi or taking money from someone else and giving it to you. No, it's just simply the volume on our platform creates trading fees, and that comes back to you. So if nothing else, this is what we have. There's swaps and there's yields. It's very simple, and we are frankly going parabolic right now. Our revenue for the past 10 days is close to $90,000, and adoption appears to be in full swing. So we are seeking investment. We're also thinking of closing our round this week because there's been a massive inpouring of interest. So hope to speak.
Wow, that's cool. I'm so excited to see that sort of influx of users because we've been following this for a long time, right? And it's so cool to see, the platform being used by so many people and so much interest. Can't wait to hear what our panelists have to say. Who wants to go first?
I'm happy to go first. Thank you so much for the presentation. I just had a question around how you cultivate trust on your platform, just given what's happened in markets previously and platforms previously. And you said you've had a good run the last 10 days or so, but how do you keep that momentum going?
Yeah, so that run up in momentum has largely been because it's basically the process of our going live. If you think about a bunch of blockchains horizontally, we link them vertically. And so that takeoff hasn't just been like a meme or something. It's just been us functionally becoming operational. But to your question, I like to say that 2022 was a credibility crisis for all blockchain related businesses. Now, if you look beyond the headlines and you're in the space, it was a credibility crisis for centralized exchanges because they're a black box. You put your money in and an SBF can go and invest it in his pet political projects or something like that. On a cryptographic level, we are incapable of touching the funds that are being funneled through our system or that are being LP'd. This is simply the better way to do it, and we are non-custodial. We do not own any of this. In addition, that allows us to not have to go through the regulatory hoops because we are not a bank. We don't own these. We don't have to insure them because we're a permissionless non-custodial platform. So in terms of how we play that credibility game, our product's appealing, and we know that the degens, the crypto in-group is going to love it, and they do love it, and that's our community right now. How we expand that to the broader market, I'm really interested as we develop in stripping out a lot of the in-group kind of jargon of crypto, like LPing and liquidity, and I want this to be framed as Bitcoin savings accounts. Like my vision for this company is 10 million people with a Bitcoin savings account on my platform that is gaining 6% APR in Bitcoin as the world's currencies inflate away. I think a lot of it is the framing, in addition to some of more concrete things like having a comprehensive security team, having really good audits, and essentially having our system be as battle tested and as technologically secure as it can be. But ultimately, it comes down to marketing and communicating and getting our community to trust us. And right now, we're in the early adopter phase. Those people that are jumping in are taking a risk. I think that as we prove that we are high integrity players in the space and that this money does not run away and that we are doing what we say we're doing, which is all trackable on chain, I think that we can really build that trust. And we look at the SBFs of the world. We are in opposition to them. Their bad acting makes the case for what we do. So that's the way we like to think about it.
Great. I'll go ahead, Yinzi.
Please go ahead.
Okay. Coronado, great pitch. 2 quick questions for you. Why'd you guys choose the Maya protocol to build on? And I know it's kind of a meme, but where does the yield come from?
So specifically, that yield comes from trading fees. Plain and simple, there's a large amount of volume. If you've supplied Bitcoin and people are trading, we're a cross-chain solution. So people want to get their Bitcoin into stables, into Tether, into USDC. We are taking small transaction fees and delivering them to those liquidity providers in a standardized way. And if you see those APRs on our site, to be very clear, this is a big lesson in the last market cycle. never trust a stable APY. Our APYs are changing all the time based on that volume. If anybody is promising you stable yields, you got to ask that question: where does it come from? So that would change. And if the volume goes down in a certain pool, that APR will go down. But we take a 30-day average. So that's where the yield comes from. That was part one of your question. What was the other?
Oh, just on the Maya protocol, like why you guys chose that as opposed to like Arbitrum or something.
Yeah, one of the things here, I wasn't entirely sure how familiar my audience would be with kind of various crypto ecosystems. Maya protocol is the only fork of Thorchain. Thorchain is a very popular cross-chain liquidity protocol. I brokered personally the first conversations between the Maya protocol team and Thorchain in November of 2021. I've been working with both teams for over 2 years. Maya protocol basically, if you think about these horizontal layers of chains, Maya protocol combines one menu of chains and Thorchain combines another. So it's similar tech, similar premise, but Maya is 50% more capital efficient by TVL. So slippage, everything, it's a newer system. Thorchain's from 2019, Maya's from 2021. So Maya is going to take the same model with its central token, which is Cacao. And I mean, man, do a Twitter search for Cacao on Twitter right now. It's nuts. It's been a very overwhelming week. That's also why, and I apologize, that was not a great pitch. That was a very simple pitch. I recorded that this morning. But the Cacao is the underlying asset. And basically, I have personal relationships with that team. They're our backend. To me, real relationships and high integrity players are really important in this space because I've worked by accident with low integrity people. I have shaken hands. I've broken bread. I have actually been on panels with the Maya Protocol team, specifically at the Cross Chain Summit in Austin in the summer of 22. So they're our friends. Their tech is the best in class. It is the shiniest, newest technology to facilitate cross chain. And our relationship is really important to me. I'm going to be going down to their redacted country this year and doing in-person work. And we're trying to build this both my team and this ecosystem through real relationships.
Yeah, thank you so much. So my question was actually also about the choice of Maya. Additionally, in the website I mentioned, I saw that you mentioned the advantage of building on Maya instead of SOAR. I'm a big fan of SOAR. They have a lot of security measures. You mentioned specifically a advantage of building into novel ecosystems such as Cardano, etc. So do you think that is the main competitive advantage apart from what you were replying to Evan's questions?
Yes. So what's so cool about this is we have, rather than see it as a negative competitive thing, we have precedent to point to. Thorchain is like, some people call it the big brother. Some people call Maya Protocol the hot younger sister. But like Maya Protocol is 1/32 the size of Thorchain. It's incredibly early. We launched over the summer, basically. And we are linking novel ecosystems that are not going to be touched by Thorchain. So the reason we have exploded in the last week is our Kujira integration went live. Kujira previously was very hard to get. Our platform is currently one of the only places you can get it outside of the ecosystem. So that Kujira thing, it pumped Kujira, it pumped Cacao, everything went awesome. It's still happening. That is like the MVP of what we're doing. So now looking towards the future, just to drop a little alpha, specifically Cardano, Radix, Caspa, and Arbitrum, and like these are all chains that we know Thorchain is not integrating any of those. So we have this kind of blue ocean strategy with Thorchain. Thorchain is proving the use case for what we're doing, but with different assets and blockchains. And so it really comes down for the Maya team and for us, like, what are the hottest, coolest, new, like upcoming ecosystems and technologies that we can integrate, and how can we offer that, to our increasingly growing cross-chain community? And if these things keep happening, like Kujira did when it went live on our platform, we're just going to create an incredible flywheel of liquidity and enthusiasm. And to your point, Cardano, Radix, Caspa, Arbitrum, Cosmos, that's like the next 5, and we're just going to keep doing this.
Awesome. Sounds very exciting. Thanks for pitching. Final
things. Things have gotten very crazy for us in the past 2 weeks. And so this has been, they're evolving in real time. My pitch, if I had submitted it on Friday, would be different than my pitch today. At the end of the day, we need connections. We need partners. actually money has become lower on the list of our priorities because there's a lot of interest and we are a functioning profitable revenue model. We're cranking revenue. And so as we move into these new ecos, in each one, we need to iterate like, who are the big players there? How do we get the word out? How do we get a large Cardano whale to plug 50 mil of Cardano liquidity into our liquidity pool to gain APY on it, APR. So that's what we're looking for. It's only partially money. It's really more connections, value add. And we're going to be also just needing to find these new cool breakout ecosystems and form relationships. My final thing would be crypto moves in meta narratives. There is, the Arbitrum meta narrative, and then there's the yield farming and the cross-chain narrative of we link blockchains and new ecosystems. We straddle those meta narratives. And that makes us not tied to one ecosystem. If Arbitrum becomes a thing of the past, it's one of the things we integrated. So we have this great advantage just with our model in terms of staying relevant in crypto. We are going to keep integrating these chains and keep integrating novel ecosystems. And that will allow us to just create a flywheel of relevance that does not tie itself to one meta narrative. And I think whether it's NFTs or yield farming, you should be wary of things that are tied to one eco or meta narrative. And we are happy not to be. Thank you for your time.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Can't wait. Yeah, I definitely check out Cacao and of course also Eldorado. Have a good day.
Check out Cacao. It's not even our token. Check it out.
I love it. It's been a while since that people are that excited about crypto, and obviously now crypto's coming back, and you can really feel it in the community. I don't know about how you guys are feeling it. I heard Istanbul is a Dev Connect is a fantastic vibe at the moment. I unfortunately couldn't go. So nice that it's back. Right. Next one is Revel. Revel is about content, NFTs, and let's hear it from themselves. Let's see the pitch.
GM, and thanks for your time today. My name is Braxton Bragg, and I'm here to introduce you to Revel XYZ, a next-generation social media platform and marketplace representing the pinnacle of social fi. Traditional social media platforms have not kept pace with modern technology, and creator-fan relationships have been frozen in time for more than a decade. While fans lavish attention and gifts on creators, they haven't shared in their success when those creators profit from brand deals and other ventures. We want fans to own a stake in people, to begin to evolve online relationships and create a bigger pie. Fans can enjoy a new sense of ownership and incentives while supporting the creators they love, and it's fun. We think of it as a gamified personal media marketplace, like a cross between Instagram and Robinhood. In Revel's mobile app, users create personal trading cards, build valuable collections from others' cards, stake their collections for rewards, and have multiple paths to earn from their efforts. Our in-app currency, Revs, facilitates exchanges between users, unlocks advanced features, and can be cashed out for real money. This is an opportunity for the best creators and the most dedicated collectors to monetize their time in the app. In fact, some users are already earning hundreds of dollars per month. We recently emerged from beta and we launched to the Web3 community in late September with the advent of our Wallet Connect feature, which allows users to bring cards on-chain as Polygon assets for exchange in other marketplaces or use in other apps. Marquee Web3 artists are organically experimenting on the platform along with traditional social media influencers. We're growing quickly and we have thousands of DAU. Users complete an average of 6 transactions per day. We've also built a card battle game that uses on-chain Revel cards that we think of as Pokemon for creators. It uses card and creator metadata to determine battle outcomes. Hypothetically, Revel and third parties could build any number of additional experiences leveraging Revel assets. Our team is a group of 15 social media and gaming professionals led by serial entrepreneur Adi Seidman, who founded the original video streaming platform YouNow. Although we're not currently seeking funding, we've been excitedly onboarding fellow Web3 travelers over the past 6 weeks, and we benefited tremendously from their feedback. We want more. Please download the app and join our thriving community. I'd love to hear from you personally as well, so don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions or simply want to connect. Thank you so much.
Hi, Braxton.
Hello.
I love those collector cards. It's
Thanks
the
for
first
having
time
me.
I've seen
I appreciate
them.
your time.
Yeah. Let's hear the feedback on your pitch. Who wants to go first?
Hi. Yes, thank you so much for the pitch. So specifically, I have a question regarding the Pokemon-ish battle. I assume that you are going to onboard a lot of different kind of artists and creators. So potentially, the audience and the fans are going to be, let's say, the mass market, general public, and also potentially following a lot of very different genre of artists for different reasons. So how can you fit, for example, this kind of feature that is one basket fitting all?
Yeah, I don't think that we believe that that particular feature that will be necessarily a fit for everyone, but what we're finding is that different people want to use Revel in different ways. Some people are collectors. They just want to plow any revs they have back into collecting other artists, etc. You have the creators who are mostly concerned in building their own brand, getting their cards out there. The battle game is a way to add additional utility to the cards, and some people are interested in that. There's kind of a gambling component to it as well, because you actually put up a card as ante every time you play. And for our web app version, you actually pay one Matic as well, and the winner gets to keep all of the Matic that's wagered. So it's more of an experiment for now than anything. We're kind of gauging how our audience receives that. It likely will come into the app in some form or function.
Yeah, Braxton. Hey, great pitch. Thousands of DAUs is impressive, especially in the crypto space. I guess my question's on distribution. Is like the goal for you guys to partner with like known brands and creators and bring their audience with them, or are you going like straight to folks that might not be familiar with any of this stuff at all?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I joined the company last year as a relatively early employee, and at that time we were trying to be mass market. We were expecting that Instagram and YouTube would be onboarding lots of people into the digital assets world with their NFT initiatives. Instagram, as you know, launched theirs, pulled it back. YouTube never launched theirs. So we were kind of left to educate folks ourselves as a seed stage startup. We were working with some Web2 creators. Most of them kind of didn't get it, churned out. Their audiences never really got on platform and used it that extensively. So building for most of this year, expecting that Web3 as a second launch would be our chance to find an audience that might more immediately embrace us. And that's been true. So things were kind of slow up until a couple of months ago. And then we've just kind of taken off like a rocket. As like you mentioned, Web3 artists, digital artists have come on board and they have activated their communities. So suddenly we have a referral program in the app, and dozens and in some cases hundreds of people have been coming in. The creator benefits from those referrals. So do the new installs, and then they want to support those artists. They're really excited to buy their cards, and people are talking about it in Twitter Spaces, Discord, etc. So it's been really fun. We've been losing a lot of sleep, but it's also been a great time for us to stress test the app and see what it looks like as it begins to scale.
Nice.
Thanks so much, Braxton, for the presentation. And you used the word that I was actually going to ask you about, which was scale. So you mentioned that about the communities and about how you've got the first couple of users on there. How do you become a little bit more mainstream and get this to scale?
Yeah, I think something that we've struggled with is that not only are digital assets intimidating, maybe distasteful, to some folks, our app is really complex. So a lot of our efforts this year have been to simplify the onboarding process, get people started more gradually, introduce them to new features. For those of us who have worked in gaming contexts in the past, this is really familiar to us. The Fatui is so critical to your early retention and just getting those core actions. So that will continue to be an area of focus. And I think we have a lot more to do to just make it easy for anyone to onboard. The Web3 community is used to terrible UX. They're used to tons of friction, and consequently, like our retention has shot up through the roof. But when we go after, this is our beachhead right now. When we go after a more mainstream audience again, I think it's not going to be that easy, and we need to have a nice smooth ramp for people to come into the app and get rolling.
Thank you so much. I love these stories, of companies that build and build and build, and then they do a slight tweak or go for a different audience, and then it shoots up like that. It's so beautiful to hear. I'm so glad for you guys.
It's been fun.
Well, good luck. I'm happy to hear how it's going and continue, seeing and cheering on the sidelines. And yeah, have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Now we have 2 left for today, so we're almost at the end, and they're 2 very exciting ones. This one is a class, it's a very CPG Web3 startup on in between CPG wines basically and Web3. So let's hear the pitch.
Under a full moon in Malibu, my partner and I were drinking a bottle of champagne and had an idea. Let's make a sparkling wine brand that represents California innovation and put it in futuristic cans. That night, Noir was born. Younger drinkers are shifting their preferences toward natural and canned wines, and legacy wine brands are looking old and out of touch. There's a growing demand for a disruptive new leader in sparkling wine and a canned wine that is premium and visually stunning. We partnered with the Central Coast's most celebrated winemaker to create an exceptional sparkling rosé harvested under the full moon and put them in sleek single-serving cans. We also minted the first digital wine token, Noir, redeemable for bottles of our sparkling rosé, attracting an early Web3 community. Noir speaks to multicultural consumers who are seeking innovative, convenient, and aesthetic wine experiences. Sparkling wine revenue in the US was $8 billion in 2023, and canned wine revenue was $236 million. Sparkling canned wine, with its convenience and serving size, is the fastest growing segment. Noir has an opportunity to sell our sleek cans in nightclubs, where the vibes and margins are high. Noir produces canned sparkling rosé, rare digital bottles, a canned sparkling Blanc de Noir, as well as our Noir token and Noir Club NFT. We've established a vibrant community of creators from fashion, music, tech, and Web3 through Noir token sales and sponsoring art, crypto, and NFT events. Noir is regarded as the best tasting canned rosé on the market. We specialize in single vineyard wines in a space dominated by merchant juice. To highlight market potential, canned wine brand Bev was acquired by Gallo for $60 million this year. Our sales model starts with on-premise sales and Web3 community engagement, and funnels into retail sales and D2C sales on wine club subscriptions. Through celebrity partnerships, curated placements, and Web3 rewards, we aim to make Noir a fresh luxury presence in stores, venues, and nightclubs. As Latino and Asian founders, our focus on working with multicultural artists will allow us to create bold campaigns celebrating diversity in the arts and wine. We will continue tokenizing products on our dApp, Noir.digital, and build out our loyalty points program. We are currently raising $1.5 million in early stage capital, which will allow us to meet our 12-month goal of getting Noir in 300 locations, produce 500,000 cans, and generate $3 million in revenue. Our team has backgrounds in Nike product design, marketing, blockchain engineering, and winemaking. The vision of Noir is to elevate the way people experience sparkling wines through creativity, innovation, and quality. We came up with this brand under the full moon, we harvest our grapes under the full moon, and with our cosmic products and community, we're headed to the moon. Come join us on this journey. Cheers.
Hi, Zev. Can you hear us?
Hello, how are you?
Good. I love the
Yes, I
branding
can.
and the storytelling. It's so wonderful. But let's hear from
Thank
our
you.
panelists, because in the end, their opinion and judgment counts today. So who wants to go first?
I'm happy to go first. Thank you so much for the presentation on Noir wines. I had a question around your supply chain, actually, and the wine, where it comes from. Do you exclusively own the wine that you're then packaging? And my second question was, what's the margin, if you're willing to share, on the wine single unit?
Who wants to go
Yeah, I
next?
can answer this one right away.
Oh.
So yeah, we work in Central Coast with our winemaker. He essentially finds different grape growers that we can source from. So I mean, our supply chain is essentially, we're here in California, so we're able to source whatever the needs are. In terms of margins, like D2C is a much better margin for us than selling wholesale. If we sell to wholesale, we make 35%, and if we sell D2C, we can basically double that.
Yes, I'll follow up. So it's a nice idea. I'm based in France. I've been seeing also a couple of startups mainly focusing on helping legacy brands, but then inventing a new brand for young generation is definitely a new idea. So my question is, you mentioned the go-to-market focus that is celebrity and influencer collaboration. So what do you have in mind as the typical deal term with those influencers? Are you thinking of commission? If you are having a high fee, as in market user acquisition, only with the celebrities, how can you maybe guarantee the return of investment of this user acquisition marketing campaigns?
Sure. Yeah, our partnerships can take a lot of different shapes. I mean, if it's a really high value person, like there's obviously some talk of an equity share that could exist at that point. Otherwise, yeah, we can do referrals. Like if someone's bringing a lot of people to drinkmore.com, like that could be kicked back to them in terms of a referral bonus. So, or just like straight up pay for if someone's going to rep the brand, or if they're just right now, the influencers that are working with us are just really excited about us. So they just want to get product and then they want to shout us out. So.
Hey, Seve, incredibly polished pitch. Well done. My question's on like the Web3 component, because of course, you know, there's a proven business model to just start a beverage company without anything crypto related or token or whatnot. So I'm wondering, like, you know, why are you incorporating that? What real traction is that bringing? Is that really helping differentiate you, you know, as opposed to being a distraction from just making great wine, right?
Certainly. Yeah. I mean, like our model is definitely several prongs. You know, with the Web3, we were the first to kind of accept crypto, like, and doing a lot of OTC deals, sending wine all over the world. And then in last year, we were the first to do a digital wine token. So basically, we had a token. People, if they burnt the token, we would send them a bottle of wine. So creating a deflationary supply of this token. And then in terms of pursuing this model of doing digital bottles, we want to NFC chip these bottles. We want to create like a lot of provenance and traceability and an AR component. And yeah, I mean, it's still early in terms of like businesses interfacing with Web3, but we want to be here at the start and scale up with it as it continues to evolve.
Awesome. Okay. Do you know the company IYC, if you know, digital company?
IYC. No,
Okay.
I'm right there.
Yeah, I'm a small investor in those guys. I'll make an intro because they're doing the digital thing, and I think you'd be right up their alley. So.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I as that, you know, love the pitch and can't wait to try one myself, hopefully soon.
Absolutely.
Cool. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Right. Now we're coming to our very last one. Three Spaces, also run by one of our very long CPG community members. It's a creative agency working with some fantastic partnerships. Let's hear it from Deborah.
Hi, my name is Deborah Knapp, and I am the CEO and co-founder of Three Spaces. Three Spaces is an agency that brings together artists with brands using technology to create innovative collaborations. We are solving the problems of brand connection. Brands struggle to find ways to connect authentically with their consumers, and consumers prefer brands that share their values and that care about social impact, but sometimes that story is hard to tell. There's also limited access. Many brands are not aware of or have access to the vault of digital artists that could help tell their story more authentically. And blockchain technology can be difficult for brands to integrate into their marketing strategy without proper support and consultation. We are solving this problem by helping brands with their storytelling, by bringing them together with artists from around the world and strengthening their collaboration using technology. We coach all parties involved on the best use of technology for their particular situation. The numbers are big, and it's a vast market opportunity. CPG brands alone will spend an estimated $40 billion in digital advertising. 22% of gross revenue of businesses will be spent on marketing, and only 15% of these brands use blockchain technology. And there's a lot of artists out there that are ready to tell their story. And by bringing in artists to brands, it's a built-in marketing powerhouse because the artist fan base is then an extension of the brand. In addition, artists get a platform to share their work that goes beyond traditional gallery settings. We are a service-oriented brand. We matchmake artists with brands. We oversee the partnership. We oversee IRL event management, and we do Web3 consultation. Part of our services include products such as an online marketplace that we've built, individualized artist product pages that we build, and digital catalog displays. This is our team. And This is just some traction over the last year. We are incredibly proud of an innovative project we did with Peju Winery in Napa that sold out 70% within 2 weeks, generating revenue for the brand and also $12,000 of revenue just for artists and charity. Really excited about some of the partners we've worked with that you can see here, some that are coming up. This is just a little snippet of those. And I'm out of time, so please take a look through the rest of the deck when you get a chance. But we are Three Spaces. We are making the world an art gallery, one wall at a time.
Hi, Deborah. Thanks for the presentation.
Hi, everyone. Thank you.
Right, let's go right into feedback.
I'll go first then. Yeah, thank you for the creative pitch. So in the brands and agency world, we've seen a lot of big brands. They have long-term collaboration with major agencies that are having different sub-agencies all around the world. So my question is around how do you plan to acquire this legacy brands as client? Also, maybe related to this question, the agency model potentially is HR concentrated, meaning that you will need to hire a lot of creative people and have a big team of army of creatives to do that. Potentially, are you planning to automate certain part using different technologies?
Yes.
Maybe let's go through all the questions first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who wants to go next?
Hey, Deborah, great pitch. Mine was more about the origin of the company. Like, I'd love to hear, like, why you guys are tackling this problem, and was there some personal inspiration from you?
My question, Deborah, was more around kind of the competitive landscape for what you're doing. I've seen a number of new models emerge in the art space. A good friend of mine has taken the model where you've got kind of sports agents for artists and move that, sports agents and move that for artists. So she's essentially acting like an agent, like you'd find in LA, for new and emerging artists. So I'd love to hear kind of what you think the competitive landscape looks like.
Sure. Do I have time to answer all three, or do I need to choose two? Or should
if you basically 2 slow, 3 fast. Let's do it.
Okay, so thank you, everyone. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the questions. Yingzi, I'll start with you. So part of our ask for our raise is actually to answer your automation question. That's one of the things that we really want to do is keep our human role in this really carefully curated partnerships that we build. And by doing so, we really want to bring in more AI. We use a lot of, established platforms as much as we can. But yes, that's part of our raise, if that answers your question. And in terms of the first part of your question, we have had a lot of conversations with a lot of big brands, and that has come up as a thing. They already are connected with these partnerships, but some of them are still really wanting our services because we are offering something that's new to them that they didn't realize was out there. So we've actually had a lot of really positive success, even despite those. And we're all about community, so sometimes it's bringing us into the whole mix with who they're partnering with, So I'm not afraid of that part because we've had a really warm reception to this. Like, wow, this is really, a catalog of artists that we didn't know existed, that and using the technology that a lot of these Web2 companies have not yet integrated. So we're bringing something novel to that. I hope that answers your question. Evan, we are a team of 10 and we all have different reasons for being here, but I will share the origin of the co-founders, which is myself and my co-founder. I entered into Web3 in 2020, and I came in having won a grant for my other business that I started 20 years ago, that I invested in a Web3 validator pool company that was fraudulent, lost a lot of money. It was a huge case, a big FBI case. I met with a lot of cybersecurity people who told me I'm going to talk too long, so I'll wrap it up. point being, because of that, I went into the space with a desire to educate on safety. And then I found out the incredible good things that were happening in this space that were different than the outside perception of all the scams. And that's where I decided I needed to bring art out into the world and bridge that gap. So long answer. Competitive models. Yes, I mean, there's a few, but I will be honest, Vidisha, we haven't come across anyone who's quite doing it the way that we are, by doing not only the agency part, but also bringing in the tech when brands want the tech, we meet them where they're at, but also we have our own online marketplace. We have our own artist product pages that we build for the artists that allow them to sell their work in physical form or as NFTs. So I feel like we've got a niche that's bringing in a lot of the different parts that is unique. So yeah. And we have a really cool team that brings in a lot of different community aspects. And yeah, so I wish I could have shared more, but 2.5 minutes was really fast.
You did very well, though. It was very interesting also to see some of the case studies that you showed. So thank you so much for that, and good luck with it.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, that brings us to the end. Everybody, those were fantastic pitches. Thank you so much to our panelists for joining today. What happens next? So for the panelists, please, you will hear some music now, but please stay on, because we will then collect your vote once, after, in the backstage area, so to say. And then later today, in half an hour, we do pitch session 2. So I'm looking forward to the next pitches. And on Thursday, we have the pitch session 3. Also looking forward to those. And then on Friday, we will announce the finalists that all of the panelists have voted. Then the Thanksgiving week, we're off. I think you will all be off, so nothing's going to happen then. And then we come back after Thanksgiving, Tuesday 28th, for the graduation and the announcement of the winners and of CPG certified. So if you will stay on, or I hope I see you in the next pitch sessions. To everyone who's here, thank you for all of the pitches. They were fantastic. Really delighted to see them. And again, thank you to our panelists. Please stay on. This is our pour-up for today. You can all get the pour-up now. And with that, I wish you a good rest of the evening. Bye.